Hello and welcome to another update video about AVAX. I still remain of my view that since AVAX dropped here below that $53 level, it obviously has triggered this bearish scenario that I already announced would happen if we really drop below that $53 level. In the end, we landed here in this target area, but we also dropped below it. And as I already mentioned in the last few videos, I don't really like this chart, not since we dropped below the $53 level. All the way up here, it was still sort of bullish, but it has dropped below it. Few people have asked, what is the difference between this chart here and the, for example, the chart of, for example, VeChain or something. The problem is that with this chart, you can count it very easily corrective. You could even argue that this whole chart is a corrective wave, which would eventually not be good for this chart, to say it very, very clearly. But first of all, so obviously the ideal level here for AVAX is here this 88.7% FIB level, to not drop below that, and that is here $25. Now, I could help AVAX a little bit and pull that FIB level range here to 0. From that point of view, it still has a bit more space to drop. And we could argue, okay, maybe that is the first wave. And all right, we keep it here in the range from 88.7% to 78.6% FIB level. So from $16.65 to $31. But that's not ideal, but we'll keep it like that, and that would still give it a little bit of more space to drop further before it drops below that 88.7% FIB level. The very worst case for AVAX, and it shouldn't drop below that, is that $9 level or $9.50 here, that last range of support. And I actually put that line on the chart now, but if it drops below that, I really lose faith entirely into AVAX. It already doesn't look good, this chart. I said that before. The reason is it really looks similar to the lunar chart. That's one thing. That's one point, and we might even be able to add Luna actually onto the chart. Let's take a look if we actually can do that. Oops. But here comes the problem now. Would need to percentage. There you go. Can you actually see how similar this chart looks? It really looks similar. Yeah, very similar. And the problem is this structure here. And again, I don't want to scare people, but the chart looks so similar. The problem is this wave here. Let me take the lunar chart out again. What I want to show you is just this bit here. Oh, come on. And what I do is take these out, take these out. It is this weird pattern, which is not beautiful, which is a very rare pattern. Yeah, if you want to count it as a bullish pattern, it's a very, very rare pattern. It's an expanded flat. No, not an expanded flat. It's an expanding diagonal pattern. And this is, first of all, very rare, and especially if it happens in a wave 1, so an expanding leading diagonal, rare, super rare, and then it's not a very beautiful one, with that spike, and it just can be counted very easily corrective. So basically, A, B, C, to the upside, and then 5-wave move down. And that wouldn't end well for this coin. I'll be very honest with you. So honestly, from all the coins that I cover, the AVAX chart, and again, it's just what I see in the chart. I don't have a good feeling about this chart. It's just what it is. This can change. This can change absolutely. If the price reverses, if we see a first impulsive wave to the upside, but I've got a feeling we will drop below that $9 level. I've got a feeling. And again, it might change. As soon as we see a first impulsive wave up and then an ABC pattern down, I'm happy to change my view. It's just, we need to, as traders, investors, especially if you do chart analysis, you want to react to what you see in the chart. Yeah. And as soon as I see here something bullish in the chart, you know, I can react to it, and I might change my view. At the moment, if I compare to all the other cryptocurrencies, I mean, there are some that are even worse, like Blocktopia, but most of them look much more solid and look much more like a normal correction. This here gives me a bit of a reason for concern. Don't get me wrong, I own some AVAX as well, yeah, and I have all hopes that it will recover and everything, but first of all, the way it comes down is very, very, very strong. I don't like this part of the structure here. You know, it's very volatile, but this kind of expanding flat, especially if it happens in a wave one, just super rare, and I just don't like it. And then it's coming down so impulsively, and the chart looks very similar to the lunar chart. Yeah, and you can argue that the lunar chart could be counted corrective from the beginning. Absolutely, you could have actually probably spotted it beforehand, but obviously the Elliott wave method is also based on the assumption that the overall trend will always go up. Because what is the alternative? The alternative, if the overall trend doesn't go up, the asset will die. That's just how it is. And yeah, again, you know, I want to see some bullish signals in this chart. It's just coming down way too impulsive, very strong. It doesn't have too much more space left, and really there isn't much support left below the $9 level. Here currently, I mean, we are still holding here $22.90. In this, you know, when I moved the fib levels down, as you saw in the beginning of the video, could go down all the way here to $17, I would say, yeah, or $16.50. Still not a problem, but it's just, we need to look at the overall chart structure, yeah. And overall, especially now, what has AVAX done as well, and this is also just horrible, not good, it has actually dropped below the low from the 12th of May. I mean, if we compare that, for example, to the ADA chart, ADA hasn't done that yet. ADA is still way above the swing low from the 12th of May. So it has much more space to drop further, yeah. There is another support left. And let's take a look at Ethereum. It also hasn't dropped below that level, yeah. And overall, the Ethereum chart, nothing to worry about anyway. Polkadot also hasn't dropped below the low from the 12th of May. Solana also hasn't dropped below the low from the 12th of May. Let's check VeChain. Also hasn't dropped below that. So only AVAX has dropped below the low from the 12th of May. It just shows, you know, it just shows the weakness in the chart. It's just an additional signal. And if I then take a look here on the daily chart, we look at that, ADX still bearish, red line above the green line. Here oversold, yes, all good, and here even a bullish divergence on the RSI. But eventually, if we are that low, it just means we are in a downtrend. Yes, bullish divergence, that is a good point, but still it doesn't help with for the fact that we've made a lower low. Here, that bullish divergence that happened on the MACD is already losing bullish momentum. The 4-day chart as well, still pointing down very, very, very strongly. Here, even on the 4-day, with not making a bullish divergence, the ADX also bearish. And on the weekly chart, same picture. Here on the weekly, that is worst. On a lot of crypto charts, I think on the weekly, you actually see something like a potential bullish divergence occurring. Here, this is just gaining in momentum to the downside. I mean, again, we can compare that to ETH. You can see that here also on the weekly chart. You can see the MACD. The MACD is not yet even close to making a lower low. So that could become a bullish divergence if we now start to move up, which is great. Here on the ADA chart, also look at that. There's a lot of space left to make lower lows. Let's compare it to, what did I say? Solana, do we have a look at? Also here, a lot of space left. Bitcoin, weekly chart, a lot of space left. AVAX, nothing stopping it anymore, right? So yeah, you know, I don't want to scare anyone. I just need to point out here that from most charts that I cover, this is one of the ones that I don't like at all. So just want to mention that and highlight my concerns here. In my opinion, there are others that look much better, and I will for now really keep away from this, to be honest, I personally, because I want to see how this develops. And yeah, if there is a bullish signal, by all means, you know, Absolutely, but in fundamentally, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the chart in itself, and let's just hope it will recover. It will turn around, but at the moment, there's nothing stopping it at the moment. So yeah, I gave the key support levels, key resistance levels, pointed out my concerns, and hopefully it will turn around. Okay, so hopefully you liked the update about AVAX. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And if you really like the content, check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye bye.